Imagine a long time ago, when people had to leave their homes because of war. They were scared and did not know where to go. They ran away from cities that were destroyed. They found small islands to live on, hoping for a new start. The islands seemed safe from their problems at that time.
It's amazing how these islands became something great. Those people, with little hope, started to change the islands in clever ways. They did not just build homes, they built a city of power and wealth. Do you know how they did it? Let's find out the secrets behind their success.
Even though they arrived with almost nothing, they showed bravery and creativity. Each choice they made was smart, and it helped them survive. Over time, they didn't just survive, they flourished. The small community they built became known all over the world. It was quite a new beginning.
That's true. They turned soft, muddy land into strong, lasting homes. But it wasn't just about houses. They created an intricate network of canals and pathways. This made their city special. It became a center for business and trade. What a change from a humble start, right?
Yes, they had to find ways to make such weak land strong enough for buildings. They used wood and stone in a way nobody had tried before. That's how they laid the first stones. This planning and hard work changed their fate, setting the stage for a thriving city.
And beyond making land into city, they managed water issues too. They knew how to manage fresh water from rain and designed ways to stay healthy. The unique city grew from smart solutions, leading to its rise as a powerful place. Their story inspires, doesn't it?
Back in the 5th century, times were really tough. The Roman Empire was having a hard time, and the Huns attacked northern Italy. People were scared and left their homes, looking for safety. They needed to find a place where they could be safe from all the fighting and danger.
That's when they found the lagoon, a safe spot with small islands. These islands were like a shelter for them. There they started new lives, slowly forming what would become an important settlement. These small islands held the promise of a future city, even if they didn't know it at the time.
As they settled, these refugees began to see the potential of their new home. Even though they had just escaped chaos and had almost nothing, they had hope. Each person worked hard, and bit by bit, they started to create a place where they could live. It was a new start for many.
Their efforts paid off as the settlement slowly grew. This place, although just a few islands in the beginning, carried the seeds of a future city. They focused on building homes and community. These early efforts set the stage for something much bigger, and it was all thanks to their determination.
These small beginnings on the islands showed the power of human resilience. Despite being tiny at first, the settlement was becoming organized. The refugees were brave and adapted well to their new surroundings. They were inventive and found ways to use what little they had to build their homes.
These first steps laid the foundation for Venice. Though the place was modest, it attracted more people over time. Slowly, a real city started to take shape. These simple roots were full of potential. From this initial gathering of hopeful individuals, Venice began its journey to becoming a great city.
Now let's talk about the clever ways the Venetians built their city. When they first arrived, they found very soft clay. This made it hard to build anything strong. So, to solve this problem, they came up with an idea. They used long pieces of wood called timber piles. They hammered these piles deep into the ground to find a harder clay. This way, the city could stand tall on the soft land.
Yes, stabilizing the clay was crucial. Once those wooden piles were in place, the next step was to place wooden planks on top. These planks helped to spread the weight of any buildings evenly. But the Venetians didn't stop there. They added special blocks made from a strong stone called Istrian stone. This raised the foundations above water, protecting them from getting wet.
This use of timber piles and stones made the buildings safe and strong. But it wasn't only about building on such tricky land. The Venetians had to think about a lot of things. They needed their buildings to last a long time. So, They used smart methods to make sure their city could grow and thrive. This was just the beginning of their amazing city.
Exactly. Through their hard work and smart thinking, Venice began to look more structured and organized. The piles kept everything stable, while the Istrian stone gave extra support. Together, these materials stopped the water from hurting the buildings. They made sure all their efforts would last for a long time. These foundations were a key part of Venice's journey to becoming strong and important.
So, after managing to make the land solid with those piles and stones, what do they do next? Well, they had to start building houses. At first, they used wood for this, but then they realized that wood wasn't great. It caught fire very easily, and that was a big problem for them. So they began to use bricks. Bricks helped them be safe from fires.
Yes, switching to bricks was really smart. But even with bricks, they had to build in a special way. They needed light buildings, so the houses were not too tall. Mostly, they made them no more than 3 stories high. This way, they were not too heavy and wouldn't sink easily into the soft ground. They understood that keeping things light was important.
And it's interesting how they also thought about how their buildings could flex with the land. They used a material called lime mortar. Lime mortar is easy to bend, which helps when the land moves a little. With this, their buildings could stay strong even as the time passed by. The way they built shows great thinking about safety and structure.
Very clever indeed. They also made the inside walls in a crisscross pattern. This was like making a net, which helped the buildings be even more flexible. And for the outer walls, they added iron rods. These rods gave extra support and kept the heavy parts of the buildings up. Using iron was a brilliant idea to make the structures last longer without failing.
Even the way the islands were connected was thought out. The islands were very close, so at first, people could just walk through shallow water to get to another island. But as the community grew and needed to be more connected, they had to think of better ways. Their early ideas helped set the stage for building what became bridges. Building bridges became very important for them.
Absolutely. Finding new ways to connect places was a big part of their success. The Venetians started small, but kept finding new solutions. With these smart building techniques, they built homes and connected islands. It's fascinating how even back then, with the resources they had, they could find ways to meet their needs. These techniques are part of what made them thrive.
After making their buildings safe with smart ideas, the next step was about connecting places. They realized they needed bridges to connect the islands. It was a big need because people wanted to move easily around their new home. So, the leaders announced a prize for whoever could design the best bridge. This prize idea sparked a lot of interest, and many people started to think of amazing bridge designs.
The first bridges were simple. They used a pontoon bridge, which was just a floating walkway. But they soon realized this wouldn't last long. Then they made a wooden bridge, but it also had problems like catching fire or falling apart. So they finally decided to build a stone bridge. This stone bridge became a vital part of life there. It connected 2 large parts of the city and was very important for everyone.
Building that stone bridge was not easy. They had to work hard and use many materials. Tons of stone were put together, and timber piles were driven into the ground to make the base strong. Once it was done, the bridge stood proudly, a symbol of connection and progress. It was more than just a way to cross. It was a key part of the growing city. With time, other stone bridges began to appear, helping the city become closer and more connected.
These stone bridges were really special. They made the city feel like one big connected place. Before bridges, boats were the main way to move between islands. Now, with bridges, it was easier and quicker to travel around. This network of stone bridges turned Venice into a bustling city without roads, unlike any other place. It was amazing how these bridges transformed daily life and helped make Venice successful.
After they connected the islands with strong bridges, the next big challenge was about water. Venice had no fresh water. The city was surrounded by salty water, which was not drinkable, so they looked towards the sky for a solution. They started thinking about using rainwater to help them. It was a smart plan, as they needed water for drinking and daily life.
Yes, collecting rainwater was a great idea. The Venetians built their squares to catch the rain. These squares had a clever design. Imagine the ground sloping a bit, so all water flowed to the center. They didn't stop there. They added gutters on roofs. These gutters helped guide the rain directly into the squares. It was amazing how they worked together to solve this problem.
Besides the squares, they also built many wells. These wells collected filtered water. Inside the well, they put sand and stones. The rain fell on top, and as it went down, it got cleaned. This filtered water was stored in the wells. Venice had hundreds of these wells. They were like little oases. Having so many wells made sure everyone had access to clean water.
Venice really turned into a giant funnel. All the rainwater was directed into these wells and squares. They made sure nothing was wasted. The squares, along with the buildings, played a big part in this. The city planners were so clever to think of this. It truly made Venice unique, and people loved this system. It kept Venice alive, made it strong, and showed their smart planning.
After they managed their water system, Venetians faced another challenge: waste. You see, back then, people threw waste out of windows. It was messy and unhealthy. Waste often ended up in the streets because not everyone was near a canal. Dirty roads became a big problem over time. That's when they thought of a new way to handle this: tunnels. They began creating tunnels to take waste away from the streets.
Creating tunnels was a smart move. These tunnels would collect waste and let it flow into canals. The tides helped too. When the water levels were low, solid waste gathered at the bottom, and the liquid waste flowed into the canals. Then, when the tide rose, it washed solid waste away. The seawater acted like a natural cleaning agent. Isn't it great how nature itself helped keep the city clean?
Yes, it sure is clever. The salty seawater kept things clean because salt kills a lot of germs. So, each day, when the tides came and went, Venice was being cleaned naturally. People soon noticed that the streets were much cleaner than before. The smell got better, and walking around became more pleasant. This system turned a messy problem into a working solution, which helped the city stay healthy.
With cleaner streets, Venice became even more beautiful. The city engineers planned everything so well. Creating the waste tunnels was like giving Venice a breath of fresh air. It shows how the Venetians looked at problems and always found ways to fix them. Tides and saltwater worked hand in hand, making the city a lovely place to live. Even today, Venice's streets benefit from these ideas set long ago.
Venice is a city like no other. Its beautiful buildings and roads of water show us history. The way it was built is still amazing today. From soft ground and timber to strong and lasting structures, Venice teaches us so much. The city's legacy is rich and full of wonder. This engineering story of Venice is not just old, it is timeless and continues to inspire people around the world.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through Venice's history. If you liked this episode, please make sure to like and subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us share more fascinating engineering stories with you. Don't forget to leave a comment about what you discovered. Stay with us as we explore more marvels and tune in for our next episode. We appreciate your wonderful support.